What is up, Hardcore Nation? It's Hardcore Christopher here, and today I'm going to be giving you my reaction / opinion. Well, needless to say, I'm going to be watching a video from a creator that I had no idea existed. That's not entirely true. I did watch multiple minutes of this video yesterday. Just so you guys know. So I'm gonna be giving you my reaction to it, and notifications, gotta love them. Let's get right into it, shall we? This is Acerthorn. Serial DMCA abuse controversy attacking over 12 channels, including my own. Let's see what this is about, shall we? Let's learn together. Let's open our minds. Alright. So, without any further chit-chat, let's get right into this video.
Or rather, this is editing Sid, taking a moment that very few of you will probably care about. In the history of my channel, I've produced a great many long-form videos and video series. However, none of that prepared me for the quagmire that we're about to walk through together. I say this because I want you to understand that despite the over 150 hours I've spent on this video simply investigating, this is...
That's a lot of time and effort going into this video, but he wanted to make sure he had all his ducks in a row. I completely understand. I completely understand this. Having all your ducks in a row. Speaking of which, I will have a video coming out, I think tomorrow or today, on the Sunny situation. And I have to say, it's going to be a doozy. So, there's that. Shameless plug, I know. But let's continue.
The single most complex video I've produced to date, and easily surpasses my Day of Dragons series in terms of labor. And quite frankly, no single video or video series has required as much effort. And I want it said at the very beginning that I am extremely grateful to the numerous content creators that have lent their stories to this video. This is by far the longest single video I've ever constructed.
Well, it is an hour, 6 minutes, and 18 seconds, so... with all the hours of researching and making sure all the information is right, then having to record it, edit it, and upload it, I can definitely see why this was taxing.
Maintaining my usual amount of investigation and editing. And along with that, due to a desire to present accurate information, actually recording this video has been something of a moving target. And my desire here with this video has wavered greatly back and forth, from rancor to sympathy to disdain to regret. Not regret for creating the video, but regret that the subject is so disingenuous in their intentions. I always attempted to leave a path open, a redemption arc as it were. But it is readily apparent when dealing with this subject that no such arc will ever...
I don't think there's going to be any redemption arc here, Sid. I just don't see it.
ever occur. Never before have I ever dealt with such an individual, and I sincerely hope to never encounter one again. But regardless of my own personal feelings, we're dealing with a person that has and continues to visit great harm on numerous smaller creators. People who
That's true.
have an audience size that does not afford them any sort of consideration, let alone protection by YouTube. And yet they are being actively harmed and threatened. So if I can impress upon you a single point, it would be this. I do not make this video to further myself or my own channel. Now, I make this video to speak out very much on behalf of these creators and to provide a voice. Not one that YouTube will listen to because, let's face it, it's bloody YouTube, but to bring awareness.
This actually makes sense. Allow me to explain what Sid Alpha is saying. Even though he's doing a fantastic job of saying it himself. When you have a subject like this, not only do you want to have all your information in a line that's understandable, but when you also see all the harm someone is causing to smaller creators and to yourself, you want to be a voice. I know how cliche this is going to sound, but you want to be a voice to the voiceless. You want to give those people that are being harmed the opportunity to get their side out, which unfortunately never really happens. You know, it doesn't matter if it's YouTube. Just look at our world today, for an example. I mean, I don't want to get off on a tangent here, but you see somebody like Acerthorn, like Quantum TV, that's doing all these things, and yet it almost seems like that everyone is on the outside looking in, and you can't do anything. Sid Alpha is just being the voice to the voiceless here. Because, let's face it, not a lot of people would do what he's doing right now. Okay, let's get back into it.
And to inform the viewers as to the events that have been actively harming these creators. And along with that, to bring awareness to a bad faith actor so he will hopefully fail to benefit from his abuse of these creators. That said, let's get on with the video.
I do like the logo of Sid Alpha. Those are two wolf heads. Very good logo. However, I will say this. I see the Alpha clear as day, but Sid is... Sid's smaller than Alpha.
That's it. I've had enough of the constant summoning the noise. I can't stop summoning now, especially during the anniversary.
Ads, go away. Ads, stay away. Oh, and what he said about YouTube not. He said that YouTube wouldn't listen because it's, well, YouTube. It's true. Because let's be honest here. YouTube doesn't listen that well. I mean, they took away the dislikes for no reason. Nobody asked for that. They just did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Sid Alpha. If there's a universal truth within YouTube, it's that it can be said that by far and away the vast majority of YouTubers, particularly YouTube games channels and critique channels, absolutely despise copyright abusers. And
that is a universal truth. No one on YouTube likes it when somebody is abusing the copyright system.
Longtime viewers of my channel know full well the numerous times such abusers needed to be battled. Which reminds me, I still really want to create that Dentola Studios logo-themed toilet paper. I should really do that. But regardless, what we're dealing with here is a smaller YouTube games channel that is both highly vindictive in their takedown strikes against even smaller channels.
That's true. Although, I don't know if he's joking about the logo toilet paper or if he's being serious. Something tells me he was probably joking.
And is quite possibly the single most litigious person I have ever seen in my life. And as such, I fully expect him to spuriously strike this video with a DMCA takedown request, quite possibly sight unseen, and to file a lawsuit once a counter notification has been submitted. As a reminder to everyone, I would advise you not to attack or harass or do anything of the sort, because this person is also likely foolish enough to attempt to claim I would be somehow responsible for the actions of other people. Also,
kind of like how Quantum TV was saying that was trying to blame all the racist stuff he was getting in his emails on the Act Man's fans. Why does this sound eerily similar? I mean, let's look at it. Let's look at the comparisons really quick. Quantum TV tried to take down the Act Man's hot takes video. When that didn't work, he threatened legal action. Acer Thorn, and I do know a little bit about this situation, but just a little bit. Acer Thorn got butthurt over criticism, and now he's suing, well, a myriad of channels, including Discord. Isn't YouTube also being sued by him? Aren't they roped into this lawsuit somehow? I don't understand this. And what I mean by that is, I don't understand why Quantum TV and Acer Thorn would even consider the litigation route. Because the problem with the legal system is it can take months. Well, it could take months to get served, and then it could take literal years to go before a judge. So that means you're spending multiple thousands of dollars, if not on attorney fees and everything like that. And at the end of the day, what do you have? Well, you have a tremendous waste of time, is what you have. In my opinion. Let's get back into it.
And I'd hoped that this would be fairly self-evident from the video itself, but over the past several days, I feel it warrants a brief talk on what I feel should be the most important factors here. We have a person with extreme emotional and mental issues who ends up fixating on one specific area, that area being researching law and legal doctrine. Even though that research and fixation completely and utterly fails to transition to understanding of the law, this fixation is now harming other creators. However, and while I cannot excuse his behavior, the last thing I want to see is dogpiling. And by dogpiling, I mean widespread distribution of his previous lawsuits. I also do not wish to see harassing or worse yet, opportune.
I didn't know dogpiling was a legal term. Huh. You learn something new every day.
Opportunism brought about by other creators thinking to get their own DMCA strikes filed by this person so they could capitalize on the drama in order to garner fame. And by that, I mean I saw some people within my own Discord server directly expressing just such a desire to get DMCA by him so they could join in the fray. And I'm honest.
A genuine
with features like cinematic mode for dramatic shifts in focus. All on the largest most so you can share the most unbelievable moments from the most unbelievable places.
multiple people in his Discord server
The iPhone 13 with nationwide
wanting to get DMCA just so they can join in the fray.
It started somewhere between a cuddle and a struggle. It's the side hug.
I don't think that's smart. I do not think that's smart on those people's accounts.
For most, HPV clears on its own, but for others, it can cause certain cancers later in life. Now,
I don't agree with this.
it's my cue to help protect them.
That's all I got.
Actually really not okay with that mentality.
Yeah. Neither am I, Sid.
At the end of the day, what my desire here isn't to attack or to crush someone under my boot heel, even though I fully accept that may happen. I want to see these DMCA strikes lifted and the harm to these channels removed and both sides go their separate ways. I was brought into this situation by the request of some of the creators already being affected by this person's actions.
And it looks like Sid is playing a little bit of Mass Effect: The Legendary Collection. Or Edition. Or whatever. Very good. Very good game.
Agreed due to my own previous experience with somewhat similar situations out of a desire to help provide clarity on the difficulties being faced and to offer advice as best as I am able and to help signal boost these channels so some sort of good might come from an otherwise extremely negative situation. I also hope, possibly in vain, to see Acerthorn begin seeking out assistive and possibly occupational therapies as well so he can walk away from this and maybe towards something better. And
That will probably never happen, though. I mean, optimism is good. I'm a very optimistic person myself. But that will probably never happen. And that's sad to say. Acerthorn probably won't seek help. I don't mean to laugh, or chuckle. This is not a funny matter, this is a serious matter. But that'll probably never happen.
hopefully a happier way of living as well. This isn't an opportunity for people to attempt to get famous by glomming onto a controversy. It should be seen as a way to help the creators that are being harmed, not cause further strife. Now, given our most recent social media interactions, however, I really don't believe that best possible outcome to be in the cards. I don't think there's a chance for it. But a chance must always be given. It is up to Acerthorn.
A cautious chance at that. But I will admit everyone deserves a chance to change.
Or if he chooses to accept or not. But given his continued bad faith actions while I've been working on this video, my expectations for such a scenario is at an all-time low. Andrew Watt, Dentola Studios, Dallas Game, and Tanner Rosankovic low. That said, who are the players in all of this? Well, let's first introduce you to Acerthorn. Acerthorn is a games critic on YouTube with just over 2,000 subscribers. This person has been, as I said, targeting smaller channels with DMCA takedowns and even has an ongoing lawsuit against 3 of them, along.
Keyword there's ongoing. Why? Like, could someone seriously explain to me why Acerthorn would go the legal route? Furthermore, does he even have a case? I mean, obviously he wouldn't file a lawsuit if he didn't think he had a case. But thinking you have a case and knowing you have a case are two completely different things. I will say this, like I said in when we looked at Acerthorn's review of Elden Ring. Look, we're talking about a guy here who said Elden Ring was trash simply because of a toxic community, but he didn't even bother to play it. That's the type of person we're dealing with here.
With Discord, Alphabet, and Facebook. So one creator he's gone after is Kritosis, who is, I think, the second largest of these creators at 10.6 thousand subscribers. Kritosis has had a DMCA attempt made against him, 2 actually. However, YouTube has refuted Acerthorn's attempt to strike those videos down.
Good on YouTube. Because, well, YouTube just looked at it and be like, Kritosis is fine. Yeah, you're not going to get your way.
Next up, we have Echo Wilder with 78 subscribers. Echo Wilder has suffered 1 DMCA strike, which YouTube has allowed to go through. We also have Rogue Internet Man with 33,000 subscribers. Rogue Internet Man has not...
As you can tell, Acerthorn spares no expense. And what I mean by that, he's not going after only big-time creators like Sid Alpha, who currently has, according to the number here I see on the screen here, 122,000 subscribers. Good on you, Sid. But he's not just going after big-time players, he's also going after small fish. Why? Like, seriously. You're probably gonna be... You're more than likely gonna be hearing me say seriously and why a lot in this video.
Had any DMCA strikes on his YouTube channel. However, for calling out to Acerthorn, this YouTuber has had their Twitter account completely eliminated, at least for a time, due to Twitter terms of service violations, which was a DMCA strike over a short video of Acerthorn that we'll need to go into depth much further on.
Can Twitter do that? Can Twitter do that? Somebody let me know.
And once I get to that, you'll understand why. Here we have Sophian P with 634 subscribers on YouTube, a currently suspended Twitch channel, and who is one of those currently being sued by Acerthorn. Sophian P has received 2 DMCA strikes on YouTube and 1 on Twitch for a total of 3 between the 2 platforms. Next is X Artemis Wolf with 101.
And, oh, that's right. Hardcore Wrestling 101's birthday is today. I'm gonna have to wish him a happy birthday. The reason why you don't see X Artemis Wolf's channel is because, well, 3 strikes and you're out. That's the best way I can put it.
Subscribers on YouTube, and I would show you X Artemis Wolf's channel, except just recently Acerthorn filed a 3rd copyright strike on their channel over a video that I do have in my possession, and I guarantee these strikes are spurious, which we'll get into a bit later again. X Artemis Wolf is also scared to file counter notifications because that would give this nut job their full name and address. However, surprisingly enough, Keemstar is lending a hand on this issue in particular and has stated that he will be sending that information on to his YouTube rep. We have Enclave Emily with 91 subscribers on YouTube, who has had 2 DMCA strike attempts made by Acerthorn. 1 strike went through, 1 was retracted, and there was 1 that Enclave Emily deleted while Acerthorn was attempting to strike it, is what I've been told. Not quite sure how that worked. I think there might have been something up.
Good on the creator for actually deleting the video so Acerthorn didn't get his way. Although, why would one of the DMCAs be retracted?
What's going on there? We also have Incognito Pelican with a whopping 2 subscribers who has received 1 copyright strike, and I'm pretty sure you can imagine potentially why Acerthorn has a beef with him based on the YouTube banner. We have Initiative Kooky with a single subscriber and no surviving content on their YouTube channel, and who is also being sued by Acerthorn for harassment and copyright infringement. And we have TGP482 with 763 subscribers, and who is...
There are a lot of defendants in this lawsuit. Seriously. I personally never want to have a court case because I would find it just to be a tremendous headache. But Jesus, this is a lot of defendants. What is this? Could this be considered a class action lawsuit? I mean, I don't know any legal jargon or anything, but could that be considered what this is?
Also being sued for harassment within the same court case as Initiative Kooky and Sophian P. And we also have Skibbity Dibbity with 56 subscribers on YouTube. However, Skibbity Dibbity has not received any actual DMCA strikes. When I was provided the emails that YouTube sent them, I noticed and was obligated to point out that they were merely blocked from being uploaded by the YouTube AI due to a copyright match, although Acerthorn did claim a DMCA strike was made. Also, a very new and recent addition to this list is the YouTuber Miliardo.v. Apologies if I mispronounced that. You don't actually introduce yourself in your videos. Miliardo.v has received privacy complaints on 2 of his videos. And a second new addition to this list, in which I was made aware of on Wednesday the 26th, is the channel The Marcy? Apologies, I'm not sure on the pronunciation there either. Who has been threatened with DMCA strikes by Acerthorn, where no footage from Acerthorn.
Okay, I'm trying to keep all the defendants straight. So, good Lord. I'm gonna have to go back. But I don't really want to do that because that'd make this video longer. I got no choice in this matter, though. Okay. Let's go back.
Entertainment this unprecedented calls for an offer this exclusive.
Gone after is Cretosis, who is, I think, the second largest of these creators at 10.
Okay, so we have Cretosis. So we have Acerthorn, who's the plaintiff. Let's look at all the defendants. So first, Cretosis. So that's 1.
6,000 subscribers. Cretosis has had a DMCA attempt made against him, 2 actually. However, YouTube has refuted Acerthorn's attempt to strike those videos down. Next up, we have Echo Wilder with 78 subscribers.
Okay, Echo Wilder. So that's 2 defendants. I know I'm sounding like the Count from Sesame Street, but I want to make sure I get all the defendants. All the defendants here. So we're currently up to 2.
Echo Wilder has suffered 1 DMCA strike, which YouTube has allowed to go through. We also have Rogue Internet Man with 33,000 subscribers. Rogue Internet Man has not had any DMCA strikes on his YouTube channel. However, for calling out to Acerthorn, this YouTuber has had their Twitter account completely eliminated, at least for a time, due to Twitter terms of service violations, which was a DMCA strike over a short video of Acerthorn that we'll need to go into depth much further on. And once I get to that, you'll understand why. Here we have Sophian P with...
Okay, we're up to 4. We're up to 4. And I know there's still more to go. Yeah. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me when he filed this lawsuit, he mentioned all these defendants. Good Lord. So we're up to 4 defendants. Let's keep counting.
With 634 subscribers on YouTube, a currently suspended Twitch channel, and who is one of those currently being sued by Acerthorn. Sophia NP has received 2 DMCA strikes on YouTube and 1 on Twitch for a total of 3 between the 2 platforms. Next is X Artemis Wolf with 101 subscribers on YouTube. And I would show you X Artemis Wolf's channel, except just recently, Acerthorn filed a 3rd copyright strike on their channel over a video that I do have in my possession, and
We're up to 5. You just couldn't sue them one at a time, Acerthorn? I know that would eat up a lot of your time, but seriously, we're up to 5 defendants. I wonder what the largest defendant pool is. I know that there was a class action lawsuit against the WWE for concussion related stuff. And I know there was a lot of defendants, but okay. We're up to 5. When does this end? Is my question.
guarantee these strikes are spurious, which we'll get into a bit later again. X Artemis Wolf is also scared to file counter notifications because that would give this nut job their full name and address.
Yeah, I wouldn't file any counter because, well, knowing their full name and address, you don't want to give a nut job that.
However, surprisingly enough, Keemstar is lending a hand on this issue in particular and has stated that he will be sending that information on to his YouTube rep. We have Enclave Emily with 91 subscribers on YouTube who has had 2 DMCA strike attempts made by Acerthorn. 1 strike went through, 1 was retracted, and there was
6.
one that Enclave Emily deleted while Acerthorn was attempting to strike it, is what I've been told. Not quite sure how that worked. I think there might have been something else going on there. We also have Incognito Pelican with a whopping 2 subscribers who has received 1 copyright strike, and I'm pretty sure you can imagine potentially why Acerthorn has a beef with him based on the YouTube banner. We have Initiative Kooky with a single subscriber and no surviving content on their YouTube channel, and who is also being sued by Acerthorn for harassment and copyright infringement. And we have TGP 482 with 763 subscribers, and who is also being sued for harassment within the same court case as Initiative Kooky and Sophian P. And we also have Skibbity Dibbity with 56 subscribers on YouTube. However,
I'm not kidding when I say this. We're up to 10 defendants. This is starting to get a little out of hand, don't you think?
Skibbity Dibbity has not received any actual DMCA strikes. When I was provided the emails that YouTube sent them, I noticed and was obligated to point out that they were merely blocked from being uploaded by the YouTube AI due to a copyright match, although Acerthorn did claim a DMCA strike was made. Also, a very new and recent addition to this list is the YouTuber Milliardo.v. Apologies if I mispronounced that. You don't actually introduce yourself in your videos. Milliardo V has received privacy complaints on 2 of his videos. And a second...
We're up to 11.
A new addition to this list, in which I was made aware of on Wednesday the 26th, is the channel The Marcy? Apologies, I'm not sure on the pronunciation there either. Who has been threatened with DMCA strikes
12.
by Acerthorn, where no footage from Acerthorn was used within his video discussing the current situation. The reason? You guessed it, harassment and unclean hands, along with a new term that I unfortunately taught Acerthorn through my public statements, which is dogpiling. Which seriously makes me reconsider my entire stance on that whole topic, given how Acerthorn is twisted.
What's unclean hands? And what's dogpiling, for that matter?
Into a caricature of my initial intent, but even that would be an insult to caricatures. So as you can imagine, Acerthorn has been...
So, including Sid Alpha, we have 13 defendants. Good Lord Almighty. If I was to actually file a lawsuit, I wouldn't list 13 defendants.
An extremely busy boy, DMCA striking each of these content creators in turn or privacy complaints. Some have received multiple strikes and then attempting to state ad nauseum that...
What's the difference between a DMCA and a privacy complaint? Please, someone tell me.
Each were harassment and or doxing, and as such, he claims each of them are operating with unclean hands, and as such, any affirmative fair use defense is therefore invalid. At least one of...
Why is that exactly?
The videos in question was DMCA'd merely for having Acerthorn's logo in it. Other videos were...
What? That seems a little that seems a little out there. Okay, you use my logo in your video, so I'm gonna DMCA you. That makes no sense. No sense whatsoever.
Critiques and critical commentary of his videos, and were so completely fair use that I highly suspect the only reason why YouTube even processed the claims to begin with was because these channels are small enough that they likely weren't even reviewed by a human. Also, we have a great deal of history.
As much as I would like to say that is false, that is more than likely what happened. The algorithm probably took one look at the claim and be like, "Yep, that's true. That's false. That's true. That's false." Even though the YouTube AI is notorious for its inaccuracy.
With Acer Thorn that very much paints the picture in my mind of, as is quite possibly the single most litigious person I've ever seen in my life, and that history is important for this investigation as it very much helps determine.
Ooh, I like that word, litigious. I have no idea what it means, but I just like it. Litigious. It rolls off the tongue very, very well.
The mindset of who we are dealing with here. Of course, a great deal of this information of Acer Thorn is data that he very much does not want to come into the public consciousness, even though it is public record. And in addition to this, just the other night, or rather last week now, given the amount of time it's taken for me to even begin recording this video, Acer Thorn even had the audacity to attempt to weaponize his fan base to flag and report this video to YouTube.
Wait, what? Sid. You have to be joking. What? First off, please, if any creator actually even listens to this, which I doubt any creator will listen to this, please don't weaponize your audience. It doesn't. Number one, it makes you look bad. Number two, it makes your audience look bad. Number three, it makes you look like you're desperate. Which in Acer Thorn's case, I guess he is.
And that was before I had even recorded a single word of audio for this video.
So what Sid is saying, he had all the footage that he was going to use. How did Acer Thorn catch wind of it, though?
So as we've had some direct drama between Acer Thorn and myself, let's run through that first and get it out of the way so we can focus on what is, I feel, to be of far greater importance.
The Twitter war. Sid and Acer Thorn had a Twitter war? Well, this is probably going to be this is more than likely going to be entertaining.
My interactions actually started off before the night of the great Twitter debates between myself and Acer Thorn, when on January 15th, I posted the following. Literally spent my entire night reviewing content for several smaller creators because a slightly larger creator has been going the dirty dev route. We'll be going into a call with them tomorrow, or rather today, but I've been provided the videos in question. They are so completely fair use that they can be used as case studies as to how to produce critique videos correctly. The simple reality of these YouTubers feeling the need to censor themselves and their content based on this asshole just pisses me off. He wants to throw his weight around. Fine, I can play that game. The following day on the 6th...
Okay. Basically saying that if Acer Thorn wants to throw his weight around, he'll play ball. I don't see why. I don't see anything wrong with that post or tweet. I don't see anything wrong with it.
16th, I was greeted by this email from Acer Thorn that was his own personal attempt at issuing me a cease and desist letter, which reads, Dear Mr. Sid...
Dear Mr. Sid Alpha, I doubt this will do very much good since you seem to already have your mind made up about me, but I feel compelled to at least try. People have been sending you highly cherry-picked information, I highly doubt that, about me, and you have been...
You guys have a way of making a man feel left out. Just trying to soothe some
I'll just let Alpha read it. Something tells me that this email didn't work at all, but could be wrong.
Alpha, I doubt this will do very much good since you seem to already have your mind made up about me, but I feel compelled to at least try. People have been sending you highly cherry-picked information about me, and you have been regurgitating it on your Twitter account almost verbatim. You should have reached out to me and asked for my side of the story first before you just assumed that what you were getting was the full picture. Please cease and desist. Where at that point in time,
That is the most... That... Usually when somebody sends a cease and desist, they do it
You have bad intentions. Walking in airspace certainly becomes treacherous.
to stop somebody from doing something. Acer Thorn didn't do that here.
the only information I had reviewed was some of the videos that he had filed DMCA strikes against on my own, and without accompanying commentary from those YouTubers, and his 2-hour-long video discussion on the DMCA and fair use with a heavy leaning on a term that you will come to hear out of this guy's mouth every 30 seconds, it seems, which is the concept of unclean hands. Which, if you so much as look at this guy sideways, he will claim it as harassment in order to claim you have a...
Well, I guess that's better than back in the Old West. I mean, if you looked at a guy wrong, he'd challenge you to a duel. And what a duel was is both cowboys would put their hands next to their holsters, pull out their guns, and try to kill each other. So I mean, I guess that's better than the Old West.
unclean hands, and therefore fair use cannot be used as an affirmative defense.
But what's unclean hands? Is that like, I know what unclean hands are, but is that even a legal term?
That 2-hour-long video was 2 hours of my life that I feel Acer Thorn now owes me, and I would like those 2 hours of my life returned to me for just how incorrect that video was. Then on January 17th, Acer Thorn slid into...
He made a 2-hour-long video where every 30 seconds he said unclean hands. Which Sid Alpha is basically saying that it was 2 hours of his time wasted, which he would like back. Okay. Well, I'm currently having fun
First thing in the morning.
doing this over Sid Alpha's video right now.
my mentions to attempt to push me into not making this video, which started in several hours long back and forth, where naturally Acer Thorn made very little progress. Because of this, while that Twitter battle was still ongoing, he released...
What? When does it just click in a person's brain that you might as well give up at this point? I mean, I tried the cease and desist. I've contacted him through Twitter. And I've gotten nowhere with this. So, when does it click that you might as well give up or come at it from a different approach?
released a video on his channel titled, "Please Help Me Report This Doxer," where he literally attempted to weaponize what few viewers he has in order to mass flag and report.
You gotta... I know... Please Please tell me Acer Thorn isn't this stupid and didn't do that. Please tell me. Something tells me we're about to find out.
This video that I'm recording now, and in his own words, recruited a rather large YouTuber named Sid Alpha to try to expose me. And he and I have spent the past few hours on Twitch. I would like to think that I've been quite respectful, and so I would ask all of you to keep an eye out for when that video comes, and when it happens, report it, both for abuse, hateful and abusive.
Do you think I want them?
Doesn't that fall under bullying, though? Bullying and harassment? I mean, he's basically saying to his fan base, to his community, to his subscribers, I don't like the word subscriber. That if they hear anything or see anything, report it. Like, what's that going to do? That's just going to make you look bad in the end.
Content promotes hatred or violence. Now, of course, that didn't work out so well for him, as that direct attempt to weaponize his viewers to false flag this video was removed inside of an hour for violating YouTube policy on harassment and bullying.
And YouTube was in the right to do so.
And just to help Acer Thorn out a little bit here are the relevant parts of the YouTube policy regarding that action. Content that incites others to harass or threaten individuals on or off YouTube. Content that encourages abusive fan behavior such as doxing, dogpiling, brigading, or off-platform targeting. And while Acer Thorn firmly believes that I'm going to dox him in this video, which would be a very stupid thing for a YouTuber to do and risk their entire channel.
I agree. Any YouTuber that tries to dox somebody, that would be very stupid. Because doesn't that come with channel termination?
Over such a thing, he doesn't actually know what I'm going to put in this video, how I'm going to redact personally identifiable information, nor does he even comprehend what doxing is in regards to this overarching subject of his DMCA abuse. So let's go through a little bit of that now.
What is doxing? Doxing is giving out people's personal information, right? That's what doxing is?
So as most of you well know, the term doxing is essentially the public disclosure of another person's personally identifiable information. Cybernews.com helps us out a little bit in that regard, where they state, doxing is a cyber attack that is aimed at discovering the real identity of a person and publishing their private information online. The attacker can use a single clue and then follow the trail, adding up pieces of information and unraveling the victim's true identity and private details. So what is considered private and what is not? Well, we have the answer to that a little bit further down, where it reads, is doxing illegal? It depends. Doxing isn't illegal if the exposed information is part of the public record. Arrest records, traffic violations, marriage and divorce records all fall into the public record. Publishing this information online without your consent is unethical, but it's not a crime from a legal standpoint. However, doxing becomes illegal when the information is off the public record, like a bank account number, birth certificate, and the like. Publishing this information is unlawful and is treated as an invasion of privacy. In all cases, you should look into your state law. Much of the conduct that could be classified as doxing may fall under cyberstalking, extortion, or harassment. That doxer could face charges if he or she obtained the data through illegal means, for example, by hacking into a protected database. However, that's just the legal component, so let's look at YouTube's policy. There they state, quote, revealing someone's private information, such as their home address, email addresses, sign-in credentials, phone numbers, passport number, or bank account information. Note, this doesn't include posting widely available public information. Public information can include an official's office phone number or the phone number of a business. And the key there is public information, because to date, all information all those other channels had shown regarding what he claims I will be doxing him on,
Okay, I have to pause. There's nothing wrong with public information But let's say you get somebody's bank account number.
Yes, Mr. Gibbs. I think you can.
That this is so. This I'm confused.
Is public record. Court records, to be precise. Many of them a decade or more old and have been published on news websites. Of course, Azerthorn claims that you must know what his name is to begin with in order to find those documents, and there is no legal means of doing so. Well, there he would be wrong yet again. Within his video titled In Defense of Digital Homicide, he states, or rather stated, as since I informed him of this, he edited this part out of his video.
What?
But we have so much to talk about.
In defense of digital homicide? What? There's no defense there.
At around roughly the 5-minute mark, this.
In addition, while I am not one anymore, I should point out that I used to do work as a freelance paralegal. I still technically offer my services on Guru.com, but I haven't had anyone hire me for a job in quite some time.
Which anyone curious
Okay. Seriously, if anyone was curious on what Acerthorn was talking about, all they would have to do is Google it, and that page would come up, and more than likely give his information.
just what the hell he is going on about would simply Google Guru or Guru.com and Acerthorn, and it would return a Guru.com page where his full first and last name was listed as the account holder and where he prominently advertised his YouTube channel within that Guru account. Of course, Acerthorn has since deleted that page as of the 18th, which he thinks will remove the link in the chain. The problem is, that is how people came across his public court documents, and as they are still public documents, it can't actually be deemed by any reasonable person as doxing, even though I still personally feel leaving those documents unredacted when presenting them to your viewers is bad form. However, I find it highly amusing that Acerthorn sits there complaining about doxing that doesn't even exist when he literally posted a video offering a $100 reward for any viewer that can dox a fellow creator for him.
What? First trying to weaponize his audience to report Sid Alpha's video. Which failed. Then offering $100 to dox somebody? Something's seriously wrong with this guy.
And don't take my word for it, here it is in his own words.
I'm offering a payment of up to $100 if you can give me his real name and address.
Sorry, I can't afford to pay more. This is all I can afford at the moment. I hope some of you will help me for justice rather than profit. Dude, you literally said, I'm offering $100 if you guys can help me find this person. They're not going to help you out for justice. They're going to help you out because you offered money.
Anything else that assists me in locating him, I'll still pay you based on what I feel the information is worth.
Also, due to Acerthorn filing a lawsuit against 3 content creators, as well as Alphabet, Facebook, and Discord, moving forward,
Why? Alphabet, Facebook, Discord. Why? This makes no sense.
Thorne himself has made it impossible to hide his name from the public eye, as that lawsuit is a top search results when you merely Google his YouTube channel name. That said, those previous lawsuits that he is so terribly terrified of, and for good reason, paint a very clear picture as to why this person is unbelievably litigious. So let's review some of those.
He wants to know why NCIS can't successfully orchestrate a man.
What are you guys playing?
I'm supposed to be playing Rise of Kingdoms, but my Germany is getting slaughtered. Is it the King 7?
Step in. However,
A pattern of misbehavior. First off, I will say that as I'm watching Sid Alpha's video, he produces very good content. Now let's get into, some legal stuff. Legal cases. There we go.
There have been a startlingly large number of lawsuits filed by Acer Thorne over the years, and some of them were absolutely mind-numbing in just how insane they come across. Let's start off with his lawsuit filed against Walmart for $600
What?
God, I'm a country lad, country boy, Ducky. For an urgent
This dude literally filed a lawsuit against Walmart. For what?
billion. His reasoning was he had applied for a job there, and due to his
How much money?
come across. Let's start off with his lawsuit filed against Walmart for $600 billion.
$600 billion. You gotta be out of your mind. Not only is Walmart a multi-billion-dollar company, but you have to have a pretty good reason. A very good reason to go after Walmart. Because Walmart will sue you into oblivion.
His reasoning was he had applied for a job there, and due to his having Asperger's syndrome,
According to the allegations of the complaint, plaintiff, who has Asperger's syndrome, applied for a variety of jobs at the Walmart store in Harrison, Arkansas, during August of 2010. As part of the application process, plaintiff was required to undergo a computerized assessment. Plaintiff maintains the assessment, in particular the questions regarding customer interaction, have a... Maybe this will be easier if I put on my glasses.
There is no pecan chicken salad sandwich quite like this one. Nope. This Arby's made-to-order masterpiece can't be topped. Except very literally by honey wheat bread.
Have a impact on individuals with Asperger's syndrome. Plaintiff asserts. Okay.
he failed the customer relations assessment, which it cites. According to the allegations of the complaint, plaintiff, who has Asperger's syndrome, applied for a variety of jobs at the Walmart store during August 2010. As part of the application process, plaintiff was required to undergo a computerized assessment. Plaintiff maintains the assessment, in particular the questions regarding customer interaction, have a disparate impact on individuals with Asperger's syndrome. Plaintiff asserts that tactlessness and social awkwardness are signature traits of Asperger's syndrome. Plaintiff indicates he failed the assessment but would not have done so if the customer interaction questions were not considered. Plaintiff asserts there are a number of jobs at Walmart that do not involve customer interaction that he was qualified for, including a janitor or night shelf stalker. As a result of this, Acer
Let me get this straight. He sued Walmart over the fact that he failed an assessment? A test. Okay. Let me give you my own interaction with Walmart. Back when this was before I was working for the car wash. So back when I was still looking for a job, when I was still working for, this was back when I was still working for, the Joplin Workshop. I had the opportunity to become a door greeter at Walmart. And you want to know why I didn't get the job? It's not because I failed the assessment. It's because I don't listen that well. I don't listen like the person asked a question and I didn't, and I answered it, but I didn't answer the question, if that makes sense. That's the reason why I didn't get the job. And Acer Thorn doesn't. I gotta calm down. Let me explain this. Acer Thorn couldn't sue. I mean, he had every right to sue Walmart, but here's the problem. Walmart is an equal opportunity employer, which means they give everybody a fair shake. They didn't hire you probably not because you failed the assessment, but it's more than likely they didn't hire you. Well, they didn't hire you on account you failed the assessment, number one. And then number two, there were probably more than likely a lot more people looking for that position.
Thorn decided to send Walmart an email stating that if they contact him in any way, shape, or form, that was them formally acknowledging that they are legally bound by his arbitrary contract that he included within that email. He also attempted to stipulate that if they...
What contract? What is this guy going on about?
Did not agree to participate in arbitration of his employment dispute, he would automatically win regardless of the merits of the case and would be entitled to being awarded $600 billion.
That's not how the legal system works. I don't know anything about the legal system, and I can tell you that that's not how the legal system works. You don't...
The The court was then forced to explain that this simply isn't how contracts work, and his claim was groundless and granted Walmart's motion for summary judgment. In August 2011, he pulled the same stunt with Google, trying to get $500 billion.
So he had a baseless claim with Walmart. And let me guess, this claim against Google is also going to be, you guessed it, he doesn't have a leg to stand on.
The court there found his lawsuit to be frivolous and without merit and was dismissed. At around the same time, he did the exact same thing with Microsoft, trying to get $500 billion.
This dude is just a lawsuit. It's just like, it's firing lawsuits like a machine gun fires bullets, one right after the other.
Dollars there as well, which he appealed the decision to dismiss as that lawsuit was also judged to be frivolous and without merit. His appeal was obviously denied. He tried a similar trick against the state of Texas, where he sent the then Attorney General for the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, $1 along with a prepaid stamped envelope, and if the defendant kept the dollar for more than one business day, he was agreeing to the contract. If he refused the contract, he could send the dollar back in the prepaid envelope within 24 hours. For his attempt there, he tried to claim he was owed $5 trillion.
Good luck with that. Oh, wait. Oh, good Lord. Oh, good Lord.
Naturally, that lawsuit went the way of the dodo. Another lawsuit that speaks to Acer Thorne's mindset
It went extinct.
is his December 2012 lawsuit against the University of Arkansas, where within the fight.
Why? Baseless lawsuit, frivolous lawsuit after frivolous lawsuit after frivolous lawsuit after frivolous lawsuit. What's his basis this time about going against the University of Arkansas?
Means of fact, it states the CEA received documentation regarding Acer Thorne's disability from Vista Health Counseling Center on September 24th, 2007. The Vista Health chart reflects diagnosis of intermittent explosive disorder, Asperger's disorder, and panic disorder without agoraphobia. The most recent chart note, dated April 10th, 2007, reported that Acer Thorne's mother said he was frequently verbally aggressive and sometimes physically aggressive. This note also reported that Acer Thorne had made no progress towards his treatment plan goals and blamed his anger on others. Other chart notes reflect that Acer Thorne tends to externalize blame and was unable to consider the feelings of others. It continued further down, stating, Acer Thorne became angry and extremely distraught. He went to the UA Ombuds office where he talked to Susan Tice, whose job it was to attempt a neutral resolution of conflicts. During their meeting, Acer Thorne told Tice that if he did not get his medications, there could be another Virginia Tech incident. This was about 8 months after he...
Oh, what's that?
Student at Virginia Tech shot and killed numerous innocent bystanders, an incident that made national headlines.
Oh, that's what that is. Seriously?
Tice testified that she almost pushed her panic button while talking with Acer Thorne. And still further on in the case, it reads, on June 13th, 2010, Acer Thorne sent an email to Chancellor Gerhardt making demands related to re-enrollment. Judy Schwab, Associate Vice Chancellor for Administration, received the email on a website she and the Chancellor both monitor. Schwab described the email not only as threatening, but as off the continuum of rage and anger. Although it was after business hours when she received the email, Schwab was sufficiently concerned to call Chancellor Gerhardt at home to alert him about it. The subject line of this email stated, "You're a hair's breadth away from getting sued out your ass." The content of the email is instructive in understanding the situation that presented itself at that time and is repeated here verbatim. And I'm not actually going to read that because I have to be mindful of younger listeners or people with children that might be in the room, so we're just going to leave that up on the screen for a few moments, and if you would like to pause the video to read it, you absolutely can. And that case was also eventually dismissed. There was also the lawsuit he filed against his own parents for claiming him on their taxes, which he thought, but wasn't sure, constituted identity theft, where even the courts...
You have to claim your children on your taxes.
I couldn't be happier with the product. At RexMD.com, we've made the process faster.
You have to.
Visit RexMD.com right now. I got my
That's not identity theft.
family. This degree is for me.
were finally becoming sick of his crap, where they stated, "It is further ordered that Acer Thorne is limited to filing one case in the federal courts for the Western District of Arkansas per every 3 calendar months. All claims in any case should be properly joined or the case may be subject to dismissal. This condition is effective immediately." They also dismissed that lawsuit with prejudice upon initial review for failing to state a claim on which relief could be granted. There was yet another lawsuit where Acer Thorne attempted to sue his own father, and this made for some of the most bizarre reading I think I've ever seen. Within an appeal that was filed by Acer Thorne and eventually dismissed, it states, "At the time of the incident giving rise to this litigation, the adult son was residing with the father. In an attempt to eliminate or reduce previous friction between the father and son, the parties had executed a written agreement setting forth the terms and conditions whereby the son could live in the father's residence. On November 24th, 2011, the police were called to the home of the father and found that the father had suffered knife wounds to his face. The son, Acer Thorne, was arrested and charged with battery. The son subsequently filed suit against his father, claiming that his father had breached the written contract between the parties that night by failing to provide adequate high-speed internet service. Appellant further claimed that after he confronted his...
What?
Except very literally by honey wheat bread. Arby's, we have the meat.
The day you get your Clear Choice dental implants makes every day. Let's dig in day.
So he
Take a big bite day.
he sued his father because of
Love my new teeth day.
the internet speed.
Choice day is the day everything is back on the menu. A Clear Choice day changes
What the?
everything. Schedule a free consultation.
Please tell me this case was thrown out.
Take a look at this.
father about the problem with the internet, his father punched him in the face, and then the father purposely
Oh wait, I forgot. Sid Alpha did say that this case was eventually thrown out.
cut his own face with a knife to make it appear as if he had been attacked by his son. Appellant asserted in his complaint that his
That makes absolutely no sense. Why would somebody grab a knife and cut their face with said knife, then the police show up and say, "My son attacked me with the knife"? That makes no sense.
father pressed criminal charges against him, knowing them to be false, and used the alleged attack as a means to circumvent the lease agreement provision of their party's contract and unlawfully evict appellant from his house. The complaint alleged 6 separate causes of action, including malicious prosecution, abuse of process, defamation, breach of contract, conversion, and battery. Appellant subsequently filed an amended complaint adding additional claims for identity theft, tort of outrage, negligence, and forgery. The case proceeded to a jury trial, and the conclusion of that trial was the jury was given interrogatories pertaining to only 2 of the 10 claims. Specifically, the jury was instructed on breach of contract and battery and returned verdicts in favor of the father on those 2 claims. Therefore, the trial court entered a judgment on jury verdict against plaintiff, and the order stated that Acer Thorne's complaint was dismissed. Acer Thorne filed a motion for a new trial and subsequently filed a second motion for a new trial, which were both denied by the trial court. Acer Thorne now appeals from the underlying judgment and the order denying his second motion for new trial. And of course, Acer Thorne's reaction to that outcome? To sue the state of Arkansas and the Boone County Circuit Court clerk, stating the clerk had intentionally removed a dismissal order from the...
How? So he didn't like the outcome, so he decided to sue the state of Arkansas. What? This guy's logic makes no sense.
So what happened after the gunfight that day?
Official file as she was preparing the record on appeal and to claim the lawsuit failed because the judge hates him due to his litigation history. He also claims this has caused him damages to the tune of $11 million plus interest of a little over $3,000 per day. In response, the court wrote, Acer Thorne is an intelligent person who is well versed in legal research and a good writer. He no doubt possesses some of the hallmark characteristics of Asperger's syndrome, which likely explains why he is so quick to assume the worst in others, as well as his own willingness to make such extraordinary leaps to baseless conclusions. The court further recognizes that, as a pro se litigant, Acer Thorne benefits from a less stringent pleading standard. But here, Acer Thorne's distorted perceptions of reality, even if influenced in part by his Asperger's syndrome, do not alleviate or excuse the necessity of pleading plausible facts in support of a recognized cause of action. Nor is this court required to accommodate factually frivolous and clearly baseless lawsuits. Acer Thorne's conclusion that Judge Rogers, and by extension the named defendants, were acting out of personal animosity because of Acer Thorne's prior ADA litigation is not only implausible but false. Judge Rogers' ultimate dismissal was predicated on jury verdicts, not spitefulness. Thus, even when framing the allegations as Acer Thorne prefers to view them, the complaints fail to state a plausible cause of action for ADA-based retaliation, and therefore the complaint is still subject to summary dismissal. Now, I bring all of this court history up, not to name or to shame, even though I'm almost certain Acer Thorne will certainly choose to take it that way. Nothing can be further from the truth. I decided to include his previous history of frivolous litigations because they describe and help us to define the mentality of the person and thought processes that seem to be occurring and playing out before our eyes currently, and we can surmise the following to be highly probable. And that is that this person has a demonstrable tendency to always, or at least often is, quick to assume the worst in others, tends to fixate on legal matters that often cause him to rabbit hole in order to find any sort of legality that might tangentially fit his own narrative, often ignoring aspects of the law in order to maintain his narrative, as well as the fact that he has been diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder and quite often blames his anger on others. It paints a very unfortunate picture that a discussion on that could certainly be had, but it does not change the fact that we're seeing these same traits and actions being played out here with the DMCA strikes, the accusations of harassment and doxing, and the privacy complaints that are his newest method of attack being leveraged against other creators in an effort to silence and in an effort to allow a method for pursuing his mental fixation on litigation. That said, let's discuss how Acer Thorne believes that all of the content that he has filed DMCA claims on are doxing and or harassment, and therefore those creators are, in his mind, operating with unclean hands, which precludes fair use.
Again, what's unclean hands?
The metaverse is a place where you can have fun and earn money. Atlas Earth is the real world metaverse.
Wash your hands. This should be good.
And as I said previously, you will hear from Acer Thorne a constant stream of unending claims of harassment, doxing, and as a result of those, a presumption of unclean hands. And at this point in time, there have been so many shots fired back and forth for the past year that it is quite literally impossible to figure out who fired the first shot, which is unfortunate. But when dealing with a first shot fired scenario, you only have a single culprit, whereas Acer Thorne treats all of these creators as a single unified mass. Now, within this specific sphere of YouTube and Twitch, Acer Thorne has become what is known as a bit of a lolcow, which is a person that can easily be goated and is, as a result, very susceptible to trolling. However, that said, with the DMCA strikes issued, I have to look at the content itself to determine if it is harassment or doxing. And within each and every video of these creators that I have reviewed, the vast majority were simple critique and critical commentary that rebutted or refuted points Acer Thorne made within his own videos, or they were deliberately created memes, such as this one on your screen now, which is a joke video underscoring Acer Thorne generating and utilizing numerous alt accounts on his own live streams in order to artificially inflate his numbers and being chased down by an aggressive Alex Jones. And artificially inflating views is something that is actually against Twitch guidelines. One thing that Acer Thorne will cling to desperately is the concept of unclean hands beyond all else, because that is the very cornerstone of his ignoring the consideration of fair use. To that end, Acer Thorne posed a question to Ian Corzine, who promotes himself as the lawyer for online creators, where Acer Thorne poses a directly misleading question to Ian Corzine regarding harassment and doxing, where within this, Acer Thorne posits the following question. Can you still claim fair use if your infringement is designed solely to harass and or dox someone else rather than criticize their work? That's copyright law, not YouTube's community guidelines. So even then, he is semi-confrontational. However, that's a minor point. Acer Thorne's question is, if the content of the videos is intended to harass or dox, can they still claim fair use? And of course, Ian Corzine reaffirms that standpoint. But that is a question that is so completely disingenuous that it's not even funny. Every video I have reviewed, which is all but one or two, were very much bog standard critique and critical commentary and were the very definition of fair use, except for a single video that we'll discuss in the next segment. This question presupposes that the creation of the videos themselves were designed to harass and or dox, where the opposite is the actual truth of the matter. And as I said, they were all quite normal in terms of content, and I can state
Okay, if they were all... The more I listen, the more I think I'm getting answers, then I get confused.
definitively that no doxing took place within any of those videos, and not just no doxing, there was no doxing even when you view it from Acer Thorne's foolishly incorrect lens. See, what he was attempting to do there was he was saying, they've harassed me and doxed me outside of YouTube, therefore if they...
It's not doxing if you say in a video that you offer your services via guru.com, then people go to guru.com, look up your page, and it has everything there.
Create a video, that's also harassing and doxing, therefore it's not fair use. And that's not how that works. Here's a small snip of Ian Corzine's response in regards to that question.
No, certainly commentary or critique falls in within Section 107, which sets forth our law about fair use. So you can, do commentary or critique someone's work, but you cannot harass or dox someone and that claim fair use. So that's an abuse, and that's a situation where it's pure copyright infringement.
In addition, Ian Corzine rightfully pointed out that if the content itself is harassing or doxing, then one should fill out a privacy complaint on YouTube. However, as discussed and will continue to be discussed, Acer Thorne treats merely responding to him in the comments of a YouTube video is in and of itself doxing and harassment, which is, of course, is ridiculous.
How that? That's ridiculous. That's like somebody replying to me in my comment section, and I state, that's doxing. You got my information. That makes no sense.
As it sounds. Also, as an update in that regard, I reached out to Ian Corzine regarding Acer Thorne's blatant copyright infringement here, as Acer Thorne uploaded this clip to his own channel, and Ian Corzine responded with, nope, no authorization. Looks like it's time for a DMCA takedown of my own, which that would be a legitimate DMCA takedown. See, when you look at whether a piece of content is harassment or doxing, you have to look at the content itself, not a completely subjective and false interpretation of statements or responses taken externally to the content in question. Such external factors might help lend credence to support an argument within a lawsuit, to be sure, but it in no way invalidates the requirement to consider fair use. Now, I might also add that this video clip, which is 2 minutes and 45 seconds in length, Acer Thorne uploaded to his own channel unedited, without being transformed, and with no critique or commentary whatsoever. And he dares to have the gall to file DMCA strikes against other creators over a simple icon being shown when he literally just completely violated Ian Corzine's own copyright ownership in such a flagrant manner. Now, one could argue that some of the examples, particularly the actions outlined by Acer Thorne in his lawsuit against Sophia NP, Initiative Kuki, and TGP 482, if true, could be construed as bullying. However, bullying and harassment, while they may take very similar forms, are not actually the same thing. That is also why YouTubers are commonly told both by themselves and others that they must develop a thick skin. And there's a very good reason for that. It can actually be quite stressful handling criticisms or what some people might refer to as verbal abuse. And let's face it, not everyone is built to deal with the scale of that. That said, if some of those allegations outlined by Acerthorn are true, then there are a few actions I saw in there that did just plain and simply go way too far. However, even if we accept the premise that those three creators were guilty of harassment, that does not at all define all of the other creators being automatically lumped in. Acerthorn seems to be laser focused on the concept that anyone, even so much as talking about him as harassment and or doxing, merely by actions allegedly taken by others.
But that makes no sense. Anybody can talk. I can talk. I can talk about somebody all I want. Now, how is that doxing or harassment? It's not.
No content creator can be, nor should they be held accountable for the statements or actions of another. These creators don't own their viewers. They don't tell them what to say or what to do. To assume otherwise is patently absurd and ridiculous, not to mention completely wrong at every possible level. And also, regardless of what they may say openly or behind closed doors, the videos themselves must be deemed to be harassment or doxing in order to claim they're operating with unclean hands. Because that must mean that the intent of the video itself is designed to harass. And that is very much not what I saw with those videos. And in terms of that, a critique and commentary
The videos were just critiquing. No doxing, no harassment at all. That was not the purpose of those videos. Acerthorn looks at it though.
video is not inherently harassing.
Well, looks at it that way.
Even when they deride his statements, or even if one of them calls him a few names because of their extremely low opinion of his content, it is still not harassing in nature. So we've already gone through doxing, and his claims of harassment are paper thin at best, and as no doxing has occurred, the videos themselves are not harassing. Well, then the claim of unclean hands is, to my mind, ultimately invalid, and is only being claimed as such by a person who has demonstrated a pattern of blaming his anger on others.
Another ad.
Hey, get in line, bro.
I just got lucky.
The DMCA strikes. Okay.
Now it's time to get down into the nitty-gritty of what has been going on and what sort of content has been DMCA'd by Acerthorn and why. Well, let's start with Krutosis, as that will likely be one of the easiest to cover. Acerthorn attempted to DMCA the video titled Stag Number 6, Morrowind Retrospective, Why Morrowind is Overrated, and Fallout New Vegas Retrospective, which is a, good lord, 8-hour-long group live stream where they are obviously covering two of Acerthorn's videos. The videos are paused extremely often, and critique and commentary are provided for several minutes at a time, and are absolutely fair use in how this stream was
Okay, so what's Acerthorn's gripe?
conducted. And based on this email from YouTube, their assessment mirrored my own, as YouTube deemed the content to be fair use and refused to take the video down. And that is an important distinction here, because a human
Even YouTube didn't side with him. YouTube said that Acerthorn was wrong.
Maybe not.
obviously reviewed this DMCA takedown request. However, the rest of these creators have less than 1,000, some of them less than 100 subscribers. And with their subscriber numbers being that low, I feel it extremely likely that their DMCA takedowns were not reviewed by a human and were simply processed via automation. Then we have Milliardo. Milliardo initially released a video discussing what has been going on over on Twitter in regards to all of this mess, and as a result of Echo Wilder simply replying to one of Acerthorn's comments, Acerthorn claims that was doxing and filed a privacy complaint on
But that's not doxing. That's not doxing at all.
the video. From that, Miliardo issued an update video, which was subsequently also struck with a privacy complaint for the same reason. Our next Acerthorn victim is Echo Wilder over the video, The Problems with Acerthorn. This is a video that I was able to receive an offline copy of and review it. It is a very bog standard critique and commentary work reviewing one of Acerthorn's videos and very easily meets fair use. And to be honest, as a content creator myself, I would take videos such as these with an objective mind and determine if any of the points being made could be used as constructive criticism to improve my own content. And there were a lot of very valid points being made within that video. So not only was it fair use, Acerthorn could have used it to improve his own content. And that being the actual intent is very adequately expressed within that video. Instead, Acerthorn seems to take it as harassment, and based on that harassment,
But the harassment claim is baseless.
unclean hands and therefore not fair use in Acerthorn's very incorrect opinion. This person was trying to help you, Acerthorn. They wanted to see you succeed, but instead you decided to bite the hand that was trying to help you. And that much is evidenced within snips of conversation.
Which I imagine is going to circle round and bite you in the backside.
Between the two when the video was still available. Acerthorn was complimentary of the video initially, however, demanded that Echo moderate the comments section along the lines of Acerthorn's wishes, claiming doxing, which there was not doxing going on within the comments, which resulted in Acerthorn's filing a DMCA strike on the video and then devolves into a ridiculously long email attempting to explain how the video is not fair use, which basically boils down to someone within your comments said something I didn't like, therefore unclean hands. Essentially what
This is the internet. There are people on the internet that are not going to agree with you, even if you are the most agreeable person on the face of the planet.
Acerthorn is alleging there is that if a viewer comments on a video and says something Acerthorn doesn't like, Acerthorn determines that to be the YouTuber engaging in harassment against him for failing to properly moderate the comments section, which he then claims is the YouTuber acting in bad faith. Therefore, unclean hands. Therefore, fair use no longer applies. It's frankly disappointing.
But you can't group the YouTuber to the people that watch him, to the people that watch the said YouTuber. You can't group those two together.
Look forward to the taste of something. Because when it comes, you'll know you're dead.
And we're Tennessee Williams forming Paloma.
You remember how much I enjoy his work gifts. I hope you're enjoying mine.
I mean, does Acerthorn really think that because someone said something that he didn't like, that that's the fault of the YouTuber? Now, that's a problem with Acerthorn.
Pointing to see. Now we have Rogue Internet Man. Now, Rogue never actually received any DMCA strikes on YouTube. This one occurred on Twitter, which saw his account be permanently banned and then restored upon review. And it was over a video clip that was taken from one of Acerthorn's live streams that I'll actually need to hold off on breaking down for you until we get to the lawsuit against Sophie and P, as it is very pertinent to that piece. Regardless, Rogue's Twitter account has been fully restored, with no permanent harm being done there outside of downtime.
Good. Good on Twitter.
Next, we have Skibbity Dibbity, which is a rather interesting one. Skibbity Dibbity went on to...
I like the name. Skibbity Dibbity.
an Acer Thorn live stream in order to have a discussion and debate. Now, what this does in terms of copyright is to create a scenario that is called co-authorship, which with co-authorship, even if one person contributed 5% of the content versus the other person's 95%, both parties hold an equal copyright. Skibbity Dibbity rightfully pointed this out to Acer Thorn, who seemed quite unwilling to listen, refuted that simple fact, and threatened litigation. Finally, ending the conversation by saying, by all means, issue that DMCA counter notification. By all means, give me an excuse. Now, I would show you the next YouTuber's channel, except it has been taken down by Acer Thorn, filing 3 separate DMCA takedowns. This was X Artemis Wolf. Now, X Artemis Wolf received DMCA strikes over the videos Response, Dark Souls Sucks, Re-upload Response, and explanation for Fallout 4's lack of plundering, and the video titled An Update on the Situation. And once again, I received all 3 videos and was able to render an opinion as to the validity of the DMCA takedowns. The response video is another extremely standard critique and commentary video that doesn't even seem to approach doubt as to whether or not it's fair use. However, with the response and explanation for Fallout 4's lack of plundering, it's much less cut and dry. There is much less critique and commentary contained within that video, while also showing a very large increase in the amount of Acer Thorn's content being used for this video. But from what I've seen of the video, I feel that it actually fails the 4 factors test strictly due to its lacking enough of a transformative quality, and it could also be taken as a market replacement for the original. Now, my apologies to X Artemis Wolf, but I do have to be honest here. I just really don't see that one being fair use. However, to her credit, even before the DMCA strike on that video was filed, it had already been privated, and she was planning on reworking that video specifically for that reason. Unfortunately, as long as someone like Acer Thorn has the URL for the video, it can be hit with a DMCA takedown request, even if that video has been
That I did not know. As long as somebody has the URL, it can still, even if the video is privated, it can still be hit with a takedown. I did not know that.
privated. However, the next video is a different story entirely. The video titled An Update on the Situation. And to be honest, this shouldn't even raise a question. The only content that is not X Artemis Wolf's is a picture of Acer Thorn with a censored bar being shown over it, which appears in the video for a single second, which is presented within the video as a relevant talking point, which makes it used within a journalistic capacity. And it also shows 2 Discord DM snips. No doubt, this video should not have been taken down, and I'm appalled that YouTube's automation just went through and destroyed a channel because of this strike. So we're 2 out of 3 on this one, and
That's the bad thing about relying about. Let me try that again. That's the bad thing about relying on an automated system.
Chicken salad sandwich quite like this one. Nope.
favor of X Artemis Wolf. The difficulty here is that she's so gun-shy about providing her personal information to Acer Thorn, who would undoubtedly sue her regardless of the merits of fair use. She's unwilling to file counter notifications on her videos, and as a result of that fear, her channel will likely remain terminated. And that is a very...
Not if they make another channel. Which X Artemis Wolf has.
common fear for a lot of creators. The vast majority of them simply do not have the means to deal with these kinds of situations in court. Lawyers are expensive, after all. However, with this situation, we have evidence of Acer Thorn once again being aggressive, despite his always demanding civility from others. Enclave Emily is next on the list and has received 3 DMCA strikes, although one of those was retracted by Acer Thorn. Another was countered by removing the video during processing, which leaves 1 active DMCA strike on the channel over the video, The Exposer Thorn Saga, Acer Thorn the DMCA Abuser. That video is another one that I do have an offline copy of, have reviewed it, and I can say to the best of my non-lawyery ability that this video easily falls under the category of fair use. And the entire basis for Acer Thorn DMCA striking this video was because of a few seconds of video where Enclave Emily is showcasing that during an argument where a fake Enclave Emily account was created in the Twitch chat, during a live stream where that account was used to raid Kratos' Discord server, where when this clearly fake account was brought up to Acer Thorn stated that this person gives him money, where Enclave Emily does not. Therefore, he would side with the person giving him money, as opposed to siding with what would be the right thing to do.
Well, he's also subscribed to me. He's also paying me money, and you're not. So I don't see. I'm honestly going to side with him on this.
And then we have 3 more creators that will have to be somewhat bundled together. And the reason for this is they are all tied together defending an active lawsuit filed against them by Acerthorn. And that is the lawsuit against Initiative Kooky, who is being sued for copyright infringement and harassment. TGP 482 is also being sued for harassment and copyright abuse. Ironic that. And Sophia NP, who is being sued for copyright infringement, harassment, and doxing. In addition, Acerthorn has amended the lawsuit to include Facebook, Discord, and Alphabet, which is Google's parent company.
Notion still continues to be the easiest way to just get information centralized somewhere and then shot out.
I'm gonna say this: I really like YouTube. The amount of ads is kind of annoying, though. Luckily, I skip them whenever I have the opportunity to. What Acerthorn said in that small, tiny clip. He's giving me money, so I'm going to side with him instead of you. This guy's money hungry.
This document comes from an amended filing made by Acerthorn on July 29th, 2021, where he is filing in forma pauperis, meaning he's not subject to court costs, and pro se, which means he is representing himself. So let's run through the harassment. First, we have the allegations of harassment made against Initiative Kooky, where Acerthorn asserts that Initiative Kooky has attempted and admitted to manipulating the YouTube algorithm via low engagement clicks to cause harm to Acerthorn's channel, where this is described as watching a few seconds of a video and then clicking away. On Reddit, Acerthorn alleges that Initiative Kooky responded to him there after asking a question regarding OBS, stating, "I don't know, but your videos are pretty shitty, lol. Hope you're enjoying the death of your channel." Which, by this, Acerthorn alleges this constitutes harassment across multiple websites. Initiative Kooky posted 2 videos to YouTube titled RIP Acerthorn 2018 to 2021 and Acerthorn Exposed as Being Pretentious, where Acerthorn filed DMCA strikes against both of those videos. Initiative Kooky allegedly then began creating new accounts, re-uploading the RIP Acerthorn video, and linking it to Acerthorn via Reddit, along with that contacting him via Reddit Messenger to hurl insults, wash, rinse, repeat for several weeks. He then claims Initiative Kooky joined his Discord server and began posting a large number of pornographic images. And then there's one paragraph that I want read because if...
That makes no sense. Why would somebody join your Discord server just to upload pornographic images? That makes no sense.
True is extremely messed up, wrong, and despicable. Acerthorn states, in late March of 2021, Initiative Kooky created a new Discord account with a different name that I did not recognize. He spent several weeks in my Discord being civil and courteous and participating in chats in a non-disruptive manner. On or around April 13th, 2021, he asked to be a moderator for my Discord server. I questioned him about the job and he gave exemplary responses to the interview, so I appointed him to the position. I woke up the next day, April 14th, to find nearly everyone banned from my Discord server, and with the new moderator having changed his name to Initiative Kooky in order to show his true colors. Now, Initiative Kooky has denied this last allegation to me and has stated that there were a large number of people creating sock puppet Initiative Kooky accounts due to Acerthorn himself claiming to others that Initiative Kooky was his largest troll. The lawsuit continues on regarding the accidental live stream and a clip taken from that, but I want to circle back around to that because that clip affects both Initiative Kooky and Sophia NP, and there's actually more to discuss there than a simple DMCA strike, as it would seem. Acerthorn actually managed to paint himself into a corner there in more ways than one. But let's run through the allegations of harassment against Sophia NP. The first was a Reddit post from Sophia NP stating he demanded that I give up my aspirations to make a full-time career out of YouTube and or Twitch, threatening to make my life a descent into hell if I did not give in to his demands. Acerthorn then recounts how Sophia NP worked to produce a collab live stream, which was simultaneously streamed on both creators' Twitch channels, where Acerthorn states, Approximately 90 minutes into the stream, he revealed that he had been working with Initiative Cookie all along, and that now that he was on my channel, broadcasting live, he proceeded to air my personal information to all of my viewers before I cut off the stream. He then proceeded to spend about 15 additional minutes on his own Twitch channel continuing to dox me once my viewers from my channel had converted over to his channel. Now, by doxing here, what Acerthorn is referring to is the sharing and reviewing of several of Acerthorn's previous lawsuits against Microsoft, Walmart, Google, and others, which I will remind you, I personally feel is bad form to share unredacted court documents, but those documents are a matter of public record and are not doxing. Acerthorn then continues to describe his seeking to gain access to Sophie NP's Discord server titled Great Six. And yeah, I see what you did there. Where within that Discord, the court documents and video clips were being posted and shared around, which is why TGP 482 has been drug into this lawsuit, as TGP 482 is a moderator of the Great Six Discord, and Acerthorn is attempting to hold that person liable for not removing posts at Acerthorn's request. Acerthorn also claims that because of this, TGP 482 and Sophie NP have lost their safe harbor protection, showing quite clearly that he has no clue
No, they haven't.
what safe harbor even is, why it exists, or what function it serves, or who it actually protects. One aspect of the copyright infringement listed within the lawsuit was the live stream, which was a collaboration between Acerthorn and Sophie NP. Now, with a collaboration, as I discussed with Shibbity Dibbity's fight with Acerthorn, is that both these creators hold a copyright for that content. However, Acerthorn filed a DMCA strike on Sophie NP's VOD on Twitch of Sophie NP's livestream of that collaboration, which resulted in a ban on Twitch, and also filed DMCA takedowns of the live stream's VOD that Sophie NP had uploaded to YouTube, something Sophie NP, as a co-author, was well within his rights to do. And then we have the accidental live stream. Now, within the court filing, Acerthorn states, on April 10th, 2021, my live stream software turned on of its own accord without me realizing it. It stayed on for nearly 2 hours before I realized it was on and closed it down.
That doesn't make any sense. That does not make any sense. How does your live stream software turn on its own and you don't realize it for 2 hours? I don't think. I'm pretty much of the opinion that Acerthorn knew that he was live streaming.
During this accidental live stream, my viewers were able to see me engaging in mundane daily activities such as walking around my apartment, eating some hot dogs, and watching some YouTube videos for my own personal amusement. And from that, a roughly 4-minute long clip was taken and was uploaded by both Sophie NP and Initiative Cookie, and this clip began making the rounds. And within it, some very odd behavior is evidenced.
Institutions in the U.
What was that? Like, seriously.
Chicken cheddar ranch. Tastes like it sounds.
Unskippable ads are the worst, in my opinion.
Or I will kill you.
Was that a death threat? He just said he'd kill you. Who are you referring to?
Now, obviously, Acerthorn filed DMCA takedowns wherever he found or was directed to that 4-ish minute long clip being uploaded. But within this court document regarding this clip, something troubled me for a while. Something just didn't sit right until it finally dawned on me what was wrong here, and it was due to Acer Thorne's own statements in regards to the accidental live stream and this clip specifically. And this is extremely important here, so please bear with me. Now, within this court document, Acer Thorne asserts to the court, however, at one point in the video, some strange noises could be heard. I do not know what these strange noises were. The best description I can give is that it sounded like a dog barking, but I do not have a dog, and I did not cause them. However, whatever they were, these strange noises constituted the only interesting and memorable part of this otherwise boring and contentless live stream. As such, it constitutes the heart of this live stream. Alright, so within his own statement of fact put before the court, Acer Thorne states that the strange noises contained within the video clip were the heart of the clip, meaning in terms of fair use that it could serve as a direct market replacement, as that was the only content of value within the entire accidental live stream. But here's the thing that stood out for me, and unfortunately, because I thought my mind worked faster than that, it took a few minutes to fully grasp just what a large mistake Acer Thorne has made here. Now, he states the quote-unquote heart of the live stream was taken by this video clip. However, Acer Thorne himself states that he does not know what those noises were, where they came from, and that he did not make them. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, if Acer Thorne himself did not make them, that means they were added in after the fact. In addition, I identified approximately 17 cut points or jump cuts within that video clip itself, which, if the heart of the video was added after the fact, as Acer Thorne alleges he did not make them, and there was significant cutting, then fair use would absolutely be very much a factor, as the quote-unquote heart of the video was of a third-party origin, meaning it's not his. Which means the clip would not serve as a market replacement for his accidental live stream, which would very much be transformative, as he himself admits the heart of the clip was not of his creation. And that would...
Okay, I understand what you mean, Sid. Took me a little while, but I understand.
Also potentially allow for the clip to be a form of visual commentary. After all, commentary need not be verbal or text in origin. So if Acer Thorne wishes to continue along with that argument that such a clip does not qualify for fair use, he must also admit to the sounds originating from him, which also means he literally just perjured himself to the court. And thanks to a quick perusal by Leonard French, an actual copyright attorney, we have two other avenues that does not at all bode well for Acer Thorne within this aspect of the lawsuit. The first being Leonard stating that a normal live stream is a creative work. It is a creator deliberately creating a unique work, and as such does hold a copyright for the creator. However, an accidental live stream would most likely be a factual work, not a creative one. And what's the difference? Well, a factual work cannot be copyrighted, which means Acer Thorne would have no grounds to file those DMCA takedowns, nor to sue over them either.
But wait! There's more!
Also, within the court document, Acer Thorne states, I have registered this accidental live stream with the U.S. Copyright Office. I have also uploaded the archive of this accidental live stream to my YouTube channel. However, access to that video is limited only to those who pay me at least $20 per month. Which Leonard French was kind enough to dig up that copyright registration, which was filed after the lawsuit was. However, Leonard states that this sort of thing is usually the death of copyright lawsuits. The reason for this is due to the 2019 court case Fourth Estate Public Benefits Corporation versus WallStreet.com, which was a case that was taken all the way up to the Supreme Court, where the Wikipedia entry Leonard linked me states, the court unanimously ruled that a copyright infringement suit must wait until the copyright is successfully registered by the United States Copyright Office. And as Acer Thorne filed a copyright registration after filing the lawsuit, it's quite possible he just shot himself in the foot and is a very likely point of attack for any defense attorney to take. In addition, the request for maximum damages was cited as a potential attack vector, which I'm guessing is likely due to a potential for an attempt at unjust enrichment. And Acer Thorne's inclusion of Discord, Facebook, and Alphabet into this lawsuit? Well, that is in an attempt to have the court force those platforms to terminate these users' accounts, servers, groups, and anything else, and prevent them from ever creating new accounts.
Like that's going to happen.
An audacious attempt, but one that is certainly doomed to failure.
Mission Control says Nexstar starts killing in 15 minutes.
Start killing in minutes, for pet's sake.
Acer Thorne is a bad faith actor. There is simply no two ways about it. He has a history of lawsuits being filed without merit, seems to be addicted to lawsuits, and is, to my mind, attempting to utilize the Digital Millennium Copyright Act as both the hammer to beat down any and all opposition to himself or any claims or statements he makes, as well as utilizing it as a sort of Damocles to hold smaller creators' channels hostage out of a threat of having their accounts summarily destroyed due to them simply being too small or financially incapable of fighting back. Now, a few people have praised me for being willing to take this topic on, given the extremely litigious nature of Acerthorn as well as his extreme levels of vitriol and complete lack of self-control. But I would actually argue against my being praised for this at all. While yes, my upload schedule is anemic, I'm still in a very different position to these other creators because my channel is not small. I carefully craft my content to conform to fair use, and if someone attempts to file a spurious DMCA strike against me, I have the benefit of that takedown notification getting reviewed by a human at YouTube before any action is taken. That, and I have other much larger creators willing to stand by my side should any legal action be taken. The Quartering, while I know some of you like him and some of you hate him, already promised that exact support, and his fundraising efforts for other channels in the past have been highly effective. Keemstar of Drama Alert caught wind of this situation and also promised to pass it along to his YouTube rep, although to date I have not heard back on any progress there. But it is these other channels, such as Sophie NP, Ex Artemis Wolf, Echo Wilder, Enclave Emily, Incognito Pelican, Skibbity Dibbity, Initiative Cookie, Miliardo, The Marseille Show, Field End, and others that aren't afforded the same levels of protection that I have because of my channel's size and how I am personally regarded by other creators. These people are the ones who are being brave in combating Acerthorn. These are also the people that have had their channels threatened and are being bullied into silence. And in the case of Ex Artemis Wolf, has had her channel completely destroyed by a serial copyright abuser and is unable to afford any potential legal fees if she fights it, as well as does not wish to provide Acerthorn with her private information, which would be required in order to file any counter notifications.
Yeah,
Everything of value is long gone.
it's hard.
Yeah, oh no, wait a minute, that's wrong. No, there are 106 students in this building.
It's hard to argue what Sid is saying here. That's all I got for now. Let's finish this up, shall we?
Her channel is gone, relegated to the past tense, all because Acerthorn didn't like what she had to say. These channels are being threatened by a person so deranged and delusional that he thinks merely replying within the comments section constitutes doxing, even though no personally identifiable information is contained anywhere within those responses. These channels are being actively harmed and threatened by a person that will claim a YouTuber holds responsibility over the actions of others, and any negative statement against him will be regarded by him to be harassment and doxing. These channels are being actively harmed and threatened by a person that hurls insults, threats, and curses at the drop of a hat, and that demands civility from others, where if they fail to comply, that is seen as doxing and harassment. And yes, these channels are being actively harmed and threatened for use of others' content such as short video clips, images, even his fucking logo, where within his own content he is very much as guilty as any of them, or rather any other goddamn YouTuber on the planet. He files DMCA strikes ad nauseum and threatens further DMCA strikes and lawsuits against them.
I understand Sid Alpha's frustration, and I can't tell if he's frustrated, angry, or both. I think it's both.
While claiming that a viewer comment being negative or critical of his actions is enough for him to claim that the YouTuber themselves is operating with unclean hands and therefore fair use no longer applies. Little Punk even attempted to bully me into not even creating this video and demand that I sue him when YouTube
He's angry. It's both. He's frustrated at the situation, but he's angry at Acerthorn's actions and how just hypocritical he is.
rightly pulled down his video weaponizing his audience over a video that hadn't even been recorded yet. And even I didn't know what all was going to be said or what it would contain. Because believe me, as long as this video is, there's quite a bit that was left out. Acerthorn has done his best to attempt to circumvent any thought or consideration whatsoever for fair use because he seems to believe that hurt feelings circumvents the proper application of fair use consideration in order to silence and remove critique. And anyone who's seen more than 2 of my videos knows that I hold critique to be sacrosanct and of paramount importance, whether it be video games or critique of other creators. And yes, critiques of my own channel as well. And while not all critique is created equal, it does need to be allowed to exist because it makes for a better critic as well as a more well-informed consumer. And in addition to these smaller creators, that is also what is under attack by Acerthorn, which is fucking ironic considering he fancies himself to be a games critic in his own right. But apparently, according to Acerthorn's own actions, no critique of him or his channel can be...
No, Sid, I'm sorry. You can't say a game sucks and you haven't played it. Like you did with Elden Ring. He can't call himself a game reviewer.
Suffered, tolerated, or allowed to exist unless its sole purpose is to praise him. Because anything other than abject praise is viewed to be harassment and doxing, and he will go after it.
So, a butt kisser, basically. He would like everybody to kiss his backside, is what you're saying. He can't take criticism.
Also, all of this is coming from a guy that posted a video offering $100 to dox another creator because they happen to say...
Which is shameful and very... Why would you even offer a monetary reward to somebody to help you find somebody and give them their personal info? Doxing's against the law. So is a whole lot of other stuff. But it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you offer a $100 cash reward for somebody just to come out of the woodworks and help you find somebody? That makes no sense.
In mean things. Not to mention he bitches and moans ad nauseum over imagined copyright infringement while he himself blatantly violates an attorney's copyright by uploading an unedited clip of that attorney's stream to his own channel and then has the fucking balls to attack other creators. Are you insane? You don't dare show Acerthorn.
He is insane. Acerthorn is insane.
Thorn's channel icon. You don't dare show a single second of his face. You don't dare introduce highlight.
So wait, does that mean even if you use Acerthorn's logo in a thumbnail, that he would look at that and be like, you can't use my logo? Like, why can't I use your logo? Just because you say I can't?
Clips to accentuate points during a critique and commentary video, but Acerthorn feels fully justified ripping off an attorney's video unedited as long as its disingenuously framed question fits his fucking narrative. No, that's okay to Acerthorn's brain. But heaven forbid you speak out. Heaven forbid you so much as respond to a YouTube comment posted by him. No, that is copyright infringement to his mind.
We already looked at his video about how Elden Ring sucked and why, and we looked at the little comment section. Not so little, but we looked at the information. Well, not information. We looked at there's the word I'm looking for. Conversation that he had with a viewer that basically said you can't blame. This isn't how gaming reviews work. you can't review a game and not play it. Then Acer Thorn is basically like, so you're saying that I can't review something just because of the toxic community. How do you know if the community is toxic if you haven't played the game? The answer is you don't. And all that person was trying to do was basically tell him, because he did bring up in that conversation that, are you saying that if a person gets shot in the chest, that the bullet isn't responsible for the death? Then the person replied that, let's take a look back at the person we shot earlier. The bullet shot him in the chest, which means his lungs filled up with blood, which means he drowned. I'm at a loss for words at this point.
Now, I never want to make videos like these. Yes, they're easy fodder.
I can tell you don't want to make videos like this, Sid. Unfortunately, you kind of had to in this situation.
Or for those craving popcorn and righteousness. But at the end of the day, I always hope for a redemption arc. I always hope that some sort of good can come from...
I don't think any redemption arc is going to be found here. As optimistic as everyone wants to be, I don't think there's any redemption for Acer Thorn.
Videos like these that lesser individuals will label and dismiss as simply hit pieces. People like Andrew Watt, Tanner Rozenkovic, Dallas Game, Dentola Studios, and so many more. Because those people, particularly people like Tanner Rozenkovic, crave a redemption arc, yet never modify their bad faith actions in order to earn such an outcome. Because they feel they are entitled to it without any effort whatsoever. The problem with a redemption arc is it requires a bad faith actor such as Acer Thorn to step back and honestly evaluate their decisions, possibly for the first time in their lives, if at all.
Problem with a redemption arc is that a bad faith actor doesn't want to look in the mirror and say that he's wrong or she's wrong.
This is a great burden on individuals like Acer Thorn, and few, if any, are ever truly up to the challenge to honestly look at their actions with an objective light. To step back
That's true.
from their ego and their arrogance, to genuinely view the impression they are leaving on their fellow creators and on the gaming community. Almost no one has ever shown the emotional or intellectual capacity to follow through with such introspection. Factor in the bad faith actions, the admission to DMCA striking channels over hurt feelings, the unmitigated gall to file DMCA strikes over a single channel icon, or 1 second of a picture being shown yet feeling no qualms whatsoever over uploading an attorney's content wholesale without any modification whatsoever, and then cry like a child with a skinned knee over videos that do qualify for fair use easily. The absolute hypocrisy of such a person boggles the mind. And while I originally hoped for a peaceful resolution, it is clear to...
There is no peaceful resolution can be found, my friend. It is obvious at this point.
Me, particularly in light of that single fact, alone with his actions these past few days leading up to my actually recording this video, there is no peaceful resolution to be had. And I recognize that fact with absolute regrets. Not because Acer Thorn is a good critic, because he's not, but because I know that his own actions will absolutely lead to the death of his channel for a...
Well, it's just like he said during his Elden Ring video. If you don't agree with him, just get off his channel. Oh, good. That's why nobody wants to watch you. Is because even if... Look, I'm all in favor of... If you don't like what I have to say, please, debate me in the comments. I'll be more than happy to debate with you, but if But I'm not inclined with, if you don't like how I do things on my channel, you can get out. You can get off of my channel. I'm not in favor of that type of attitude because it sends a message of I'm right, you're wrong, and that's that.
Very long time to come, because he's too goddamn pig-headed and arrogant and foolish to accept any reality other than what he dreams up in his own head. I don't do this for other YouTubers because they're not developers, but the hell with it. It needs to be said in this instance because all Acerthorn truly deserves is a well-used tagline. Welcome to the Dirty Devs, Acerthorn. I hope you enjoy your stay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am Sid Alpha.
And at this point, there's an old adage. You've made your bed, now you gotta lie in it. And that's exactly what Acerthorn has done.
See you next time.
Okay, first off, I have to say that Sid Alpha, you did a fantastic job. Everybody that all 13 of you of the defendants, I really wish that this never happened to you guys, but that's where we are. Well, that's where you guys are. And I hope you guys do go to court and do end up kicking Acerthorn right. Well, I just hope that Acerthorn learns from his actions. I don't think he will, but I just hope he learns from his actions and never does this again. Although there is history to prove that he will. I'm Hardcore Christopher. If you would like to be a member of our little community, just hit the big subscribe button down below. Then after that, make sure you click the bell, ring the bell. Make sure once you ring that bell, you hit all for every time I upload a video. If you don't want to be a member of our community, it's okay. I still respect you. At the end of the day, I'm just glad that you chose to spend a little bit of your time here. I hope you learned something. I know I did. And to everybody involved in the Acerthorn lawsuit, I'm sorry this happened. I really am. But I do think that Acerthorn will lose. That's just what I think. I'm Hardcore Christopher. I'm going to get out of here. Keep it hardcore, everyone.